Well, I mean, I made it clear when I did my accountability series that if they did not come to us with a reduction for the Ghanaian people, I had made a request for 30%. If they did not do that, I was going to trigger the suspension.
30% or nothing less?
That's my ask, 30%. And there's a reason behind the 30%. Some people have said, oh, why don't you do 10%, 15%? In April this year, MultiChoice increased their prices by 15%. In April this year. At that time, the cedi had appreciated by about 10% against the dollar. What was the reason for MultiChoice's increases over the last 8 years? Depreciation of the cedi, high interest rates, instability of the currency. As at April this year that they did a 15% increase, we had stability of the currency and appreciation of the currency. We had dropping inflation rates. The macroeconomic indicators were looking better. So there was absolutely no justification for that 15%. So I'm reversing that 15% and then demanding a further 15% for the Ghanaian people. So,
and this is non-negotiable.
They have said to me that they have a position that says we are not going to drop by even 1 cent. And I've said to them, and you see, my advice to businesses is don't fight your regulator. You can't fight a regulator and win. I have taken steps, and you see, when I say that I have engaged, I've gone as far as speaking to the South African Minister for ICT, Suli Matlasi, to speak to them. But MultiChoice is taking a recalcitrant position because they think, and it's wrong calculation, that the Ghanaian people will turn on Sam George because of the EPL. But you see, as a regulator, we have a responsibility where there is a monopoly to act in the interest of the people. And this behavior is not the first time. In 2023, in Malawi, the ministry there, in fact, in that case, they just shut them down, asked them to leave because the prices were exorbitant. MultiChoice went to court, sued the government, went to court, lost the case, and 4 months later came back, offered 1 week free for every subscriber, and dropped the prices. In Liberia, in 2023 as well, there was a similar agitation. They slashed the premium package by $30 and the lower packages by $17. In Nigeria, in 2024, they announced an increase. In Nigeria, they have a consumer protection agency. They went to court, sued MultiChoice, and got the court to rule against MultiChoice. And the Nigerian House of Reps passed an instruction prohibiting the increases in Nigeria. Ghanaians must know that as minister, my fidelity is to them. MultiChoice is not interested in dealing with all the critical issues, the issues of cross-border piracy on their platform. Starlink is an international company. We had instances where people were bringing Starlink devices from other African countries into Ghana to operate. We called Starlink and said we won't allow that to happen. Because you see, there are revenue lines as well for the state on devices that are located in the country. So if you bring a device from outside the country and it's working, it means that it is blind to the Ghanaian state. So now I said to DSTV, deal with cross-border piracy, and they tell me that, well, it's not something they can do. They think they are trying to do what they can do, but they can't. But what that is doing, when people talk about the size of the market in Nigeria and the size of the market here, about 40 to 45% of DSTV devices in Ghana today are all devices from Nigeria. So when you say you have a low subscription in Ghana, it's because your prices are not uniform and has led to cross-border piracy on your platform, and the Ghanaian state is losing, but MultiChoice is not worried because they are making the money. But as a regulator, we invoked the powers of the ECA. When they reached out to my superiors and said they wanted engagement, and I said, but I've engaged you. Because people think I just woke up and did it.
When you say they reached out to your superiors,
they reached out to my superiors. I said to them, I engaged you in June, the Ghanaian ownership of MultiChoice. I engaged you, made the point, and you made the point to me that the decision rested with your headquarters. I invited your headquarters, met them with the Ghanaian leadership, made my case to them, They asked me for about 16 days to make a decision. I granted that. In 16 days, they wrote me a 9-page letter with 6 graphs and bar charts explaining to me the instability of Ghana's economy and how our cedi appreciation cannot be trusted to be sustainable.
Oh, okay.
And then I wrote back to them and asked them, since when did MultiChoice become an economic forecasting institution? Yes, their license in Ghana is not to forecast economy. And I sent them links from the IMF, links from Fitch, and links from Standard & Poor's on the future outlook of Ghana's economy. And said that I would take a future forecast on our economy from those institutions and not from MultiChoice. And on the basis of that, I gave them up to the 7th to come back to me with something. And when I made that announcement, they rather wrote to my regulator. They wrote to the NCA that the NCA should write to them confirming that the NCA would not comply with my directive as minister.
Oh, okay. I see.
Look, the disrespect that has been shown, I have just kept my calm. You write to my regulator. You don't copy me. Asking my regulator to write to you on my blind side, giving you assurance that they would disregard a policy direction from the ministry. Then the regulator writes to you and says, okay, the minister has asked us on the basis of the Electronic Communications Act for you to submit data, and it's in their regulations, in the license authorization we gave to them. We asked them to submit specific data, and we gave them 24 hours to submit the data. Now the data we asked was simple. Show us the cost breakdown of every bouquet you are offering in Ghana. Show us the taxes and all of that cost breakdown, and show us the comparison with 6 other African countries that we spelled out.
Okay.
Don't you think that that's information MultiChoice should have at the thumb of their fingers?
Sure.
They wrote back to us and said they needed 7 days to provide that information. So the law says that when the regulator asks for information and you cannot provide it, every day you fail to provide it, we should fine you 10,000 Ghana cedis. That's what the law says. But because Sam George is a church elder, I'm a good person. Sometimes.
Okay.
I asked the NCA to waive the fine. So I granted them the extension.
Are you not causing financial
and waive
loss
the
to
fine.
the state by waiving that fine?
The law gives me discretionary power to waive the fine.
Okay.
So I have expressed that discretionary power in favor of MultiChoice, even though they have not shown us any sign of goodwill. We've extended it for them.
But,
however, they have 30 days.
30 days.
Yes.
They're going to be taken over by, is it Canal Plus?
Yeah.
Yes, Canal Plus has gotten the all clear from the Competition Commission in South Africa.
Okay.
I believe that should kick in sometime in September. Yes. And so
How does that affect this whole, discussion?
Canal Plus are the ones taking over. They are aware of the situation going on here. And I've made it clear to them. They've reached out.
They've reached out to you?
They have. And I've made it clear to them, if they want to come into Ghana and operate on the license that the company they are buying has, this is our request. I want them, they've made certain indications, and I've said to them, I want it in writing. I don't want to take public policy decisions on the basis of phone calls that have been made to me. Put it in an official letter.
When they reached out to you, were they willing to reduce the prices?
Canal Plus is willing to talk to us. I would not run away from the fact that Canal Plus's attitude is light years more positive than that of MultiChoice. MultiChoice seems to be just wanting to cash out, because they're about to leave. But you've cashed out enough in Ghana.
I was going to point you to a statement from the minority side. You've seen that there seemed to be a bipartisan support on, in one breath, but on the second leg, they feel that fairness, that's the word they use, that fairness must apply so you don't affect investor confidence. They also hinted that there was going to be some committee level engagements in Parliament. You're a member of that committee as well, I believe. You are no longer on the communications committee. Yes. But of course, they were giving some hints about that.
To meet,
yeah.
Because the
have they invited you? Have they spoken to you about that?
I made it clear that the regulator would attend that meeting. So the NCA was.
So you wouldn't want to engage Parliament on that?
No. I'm engaging Parliament through the regulator. The regulator is the one who has. And you see, people say, "Oh, but why didn't you just shut them down on 30 days?" The law is clear. The Electronic Communications Act stipulates, and it's because of the consumer. If I shut them down on the 7th, there are people who have running bouquets. active subscriptions for the month. You understand me? But in 30 days, it gives time for all of those bouquets to wind down, and then so that there's no hurt to a consumer in that period. And in 30 days, if they act in line with our request and come to us with a reduction, we would reverse the 30-day countdown. But it's 30 days from the 7th of September of August.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be on the 6th of September. On the 6th of September, we'll enforce it.
Yeah, but are you going to engage Parliament on the concerns about fairness, which they've raised?
I believe that the regulator has done that, and I've given you the timeline. There's nothing fairer than me having had meetings with them, laid out our claims, and I think that fairness is on both sides. You can't expect me to act fairly and not expect same of MultiChoice, DSTV. They must also act fairly. When you write, people read the one-page letter that came public, and people were offended. And I said to people, then you should imagine what's in the 9. If one page offended you, imagine what 9 pages was in that 9 pages. You know. But listen, for me, I'm focused on making sure that we get the best value for the Ghanaian people. They should come to the table. Look, all the places they are walking around, getting the foreign minister of South Africa to call the Ghanaian foreign minister to call me, it's not going to work.
Oh, okay. They're getting people to call you.
Look, making it a foreign affairs issue and saying that there are South African businesses. The biggest South African business in Ghana is MTN. Has MTN complained about this? When I dealt with MTN worked with me in everything. I made the case. When I made the case to MTN, I want more data for the Ghanaian people. They said, well, we have a challenge with the network. We want more spectrum. I yielded. I went to cabinet and got cabinet approval and gave them more spectrum. So you work with your regulator in the interest of your customers and in the interest of your business.
Okay.
You don't place your business interest as the only interest you have and ignore completely the consumer interest. I mean, like I keep saying, the Ghanaian people are very hospitable people. Well, our environment is very entrenched, but I saw something that made my heart weep. Someone said, if you want to make maximum profit on the African continent and fleece the African people, Ghana is your best investment destination.
Really?